Welcome to In the Moment with Courtier Kuzan, where we're here to inform, inspire, and motivate you to be a positive agent of change. Hey, I want to just say hello to everyone in the broadcast and listening audience out there. And for you to call in to tune into the radio show, our local number is 318-484-2500 and toll free at 877-464-2500. And I want to give a good morning out to Central Louisiana and the surrounding areas and our sister stations at Natchez, Gina, Alexander, 88.1 FM, Monroe, West Monroe on 98.9 FM, Shreveport, Greenwood on 92.5 FM, St. Joseph, Natchez, Mississippi on 99.3 FM, and Lake Charles on 100.1 FM. Now, for each and every one under the sound of my voice that's listening, happy Valentine's Day to you. Hey, it's not just about one day, but hey, much love to you out there, family. Hey, enjoying how you're tuning in and listening. And hey, I hope you make this day very, very special. Get with that certain person that's special and near and dear to your heart. And hey, it could be maybe your children. It could be, whoever God places upon your heart, just to show a little extra special love to today. But, happy Valentine's Day to each and every one of you. So, as I was going through and getting things to, gather before we actually closed on yesterday, as we're kicking it off on this Thriving Thursday, okay, this Thriving Thursday, that I thought yesterday was going to be the end as far as like when we were talking about why do people fear success. But, it came to the where our lovely producer just said, well, this is a nice little topic of some subject matter here, and we kind of just really need to keep going with that. So, it just came to me, and as I was just meditating and, exactly seeking God and what to actually bring to the table to, I'm not going to say close it out today, but possibly, just put a delay on it for right now. But what God just keep bringing up to me is this, is that there are a lot of different people right now. And like I said, I'm first partaker of if not all of these things, most of these things that I share with each and every one of you, is that so many of us that we actually don't decide to actually take a step forward in achieving success in our life because, we talked about fear, that people have a fear of success, but also people have a fear of failing when they try to succeed. And it's something that's actually, unfortunately, broken my heart a few times to where, I've seen individuals with all the skills, all the talents, all the abilities. I mean, what you want to say is if this was like sports or entertainment, I mean, they were the total package, all right? The total package. I mean, they had it all. The charisma, the presentation, could talk the way they needed to talk in front of people. They had every single thing. But just because it was uncharted ground, uncharted territory for them, they chose to not go forward because the only thing they could keep pretty much asking themselves over and over, and some of them actually verbalized out loud, what if I fail? What if I fail? I mean, the only way I can answer that to start it off is with another question. What if you succeed? Okay? The thing is that what you focus on is what you're going to bring life to. Okay? And if you keep focusing on failure, then guess what? You're going to continually walk into that realm of failure. And I'm not just talking about, as far as like in professional things to help your career, things to help you as an entrepreneur, things to help you in the company that you're working for, so on and so forth. That same mental state, it just transcends, both the professional and the personal aspects of your life. I mean, if you right now, okay, you may have been going through a rough patch as far as like on the personal side of your life, and you want things to change. You sincerely want things to change, but then you have this mental state that, okay, this has happened in my life for, X amount of months, X amount of years. I don't ever see it changing. And, you just want to throw up hands and just give up. Well, when you throw up hands and when you finally give up, then guess what? That's the condition that particular situation is going to stay in. Because why? I don't care. I had to learn this lesson the hard way. There may be only one dog in the fight, okay? And that's going to sound real strange to you. But you know something? That one dog in the fight, meaning that dog in the fight, having that preparation, getting strengthened, doing what's necessary to actually be equipped, to actually go forth, to actually stand doing whatever the circumstances may be, to where you have on the inside of you the incentive to keep going on because you're not focused on what's right in front of you right now. You're focused on that breakthrough. You're focused on that level of success. You're focused on what you see inside of your heart, what you see inside of your spirit, that mental picture that's inside of your imagination being made manifest. And that should be your driving force that's actually going to propel you and take you forward. We're talking about why do people fear success? Now, some people actually, the fear of success is almost like an affliction. It's almost like they've caught something, all right? I've actually seen individuals out there that when you start talking about being successful, they get hyped up. They're jumping. Some of you right now, under the sound of my voice, you just may be excited. You're ready. Yeah, bro, I've been listening to you for the last couple of days, and I'm right there. I'm ready to go ahead and take the plunge. But when you actually start talking about taking steps, it's almost like, they've come down with a spiritual fear of success that hits them like, pneumonia or some kind of chronic rheumatoid arthritis that's in their body, that they just feel paralyzed and they just are unable to move. It's almost like I said when I use the example of someone going on stage and speaking publicly, and how one of the biggest fearful dreams that some people relate is that, in their sleep, they go on stage and they're naked in front of a bunch of people and they're about to speak to them publicly. That's the only example that I can give that can actually really give you a descriptive, view of exactly how people are getting traumatized when they go forth to success. And as I said on yesterday, don't let the little voices that pop up in your head that keep telling you why you are not able to do something to stop you. Let that be a catalyst to actually, jumpstart you, to propel you into what God has in store for you. Now, the biggest thing, or one of the biggest things out there, family, is that we need to face, I use athletics a lot just because, like I said, I used to play ball and all of that. But the thing is, when you came up to a new challenge, when I was playing football, you couldn't just go and have the same, you started out, say you were benching 150 pounds starting out, and you're going through training and you're going through football and everything. Well, your coach would expect some type of progression, expect you to actually get stronger. Now, after about 4-5 months, and you're still benching 150 pounds, something's wrong with that, all right? There needs to be some type of progression, something that happens that actually makes you want to turn around the corners, actually shift it into high gear. What's the big challenge? What's the big opportunity that's going to actually ignite something on the inside of you to cause you to actually do better, What is it? What is that one thing? Think about it. What is that one thing that you can grab a hold of that's actually going to cause you to say, something? I really want to go forward. I've made the decision right now to step into the fullness of the success that God has prepared for me. And, a lot of people, some people don't know this, but, family, a lot of individuals out there, and how God allowed me, before even getting on these airwaves, to address a lot of these topics that I'm actually talking to you about. And it wasn't in the boardrooms, It wasn't in the corporate structure. It was out in the streets, And it was dealing with a lot of people that just did not see a way out of getting out of their situation. And, what's really evident is that one of the biggest breakthroughs I've ever had in my life in seeing God do something in front of my life was when, and you hear me always referencing a lot of times, the housing projects, or when they used to have housing projects in the New Orleans area before, Hurricane Katrina, that when you could go on the inside of one of those and, you're surrounded by individuals, they're packing all type of artillery weapons and everything. And then they're saying, well, what are you doing up in here? And I'm not going to get into the details of, how you get that pass to go through those projects. But when they're like, you're going to come and tell me what I'm doing wrong, preacher man, you're going to tell me how my life needs to be, lined up. And then, of course, how the Holy Spirit works. You see this little child peek his head out from behind, who I would assume would have been the apparent leader of the group. And then all of a sudden, I'm not here to tell you what you did wrong, but what you do want to know is how to stop your son from repeating the same mistakes that you've done, people in your family have done. And I tell you, when you can actually see what it is that people are actually trying to walk into, how they really want to get out of that same routine, break those chains, break those bounds, and you address that instead of bringing out every single thing that they may have done in life to where they've actually failed, their shortcomings, how they dress, what they look like. When you address the point of an individual and how to get them towards being successful, you will be amazed at the breakthrough that will actually happen on the inside of a person. And for me to actually have somebody with a 9mm strapped to their backside, do-rag and everything on, talking to them, and I'm 6'3", this guy's like 6'9", with all of his boys around, and then all of a sudden he breaks down in tears and then just basically said, what do I've got to do? And then, of course, the end result was talking about him and, about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, but it opened a doorway. It opened a doorway to let him know, I don't have to live like this all of my life. My son doesn't have to live like this all of my life. And guess what, folks? You don't have to live like you're living right now for the rest of your life. And it's key to find out right now to take each and every nugget that God is actually presenting before you, because God wants you to know that you're listening to me right now, and as things are stirring on the inside of you, he's wanting you to know exactly what needs to be taken care of in your life. And he's letting you know he's here with you, because right now he's here with you inside in your moment. Welcome back to In the Moment with Quartier Kuzan on this thriving Thursday. So happy everyone is tuned in to start your mornings out. Folks, family, friends, each and every individual under the sound of my voice, all the great feedback that you've been giving, definitely appreciated. How you've actually been following us on social media. And I just want to touch on that. Connect with us continually on In the Moment with Quartier Kuzan through all of social media. And, you can go to our website at In the Moment with Quartier Kuzan. That's In the Moment, KORTIACOUSIN.com. And like I said before, we've got a extra special free gift up there for you for just being one of the family members for tuning in. So we've been talking about why do people fear success? And, what's really paramount is that a lot of us, because of fearing success, just because it's a new realm, and, really I see it as a new realm of opportunity, but, also people have a fear of actually failing when they go towards success. And, what I really saw, something really stuck out to me, as far as like on yesterday. And, without being overly detailed about it, my wife and I, we were able to spend some time, even some more time, thank God, for when we went out for lunch yesterday. And, I'm always amazed by when, I'm what you call one of those people watchers, okay? I mean, I just like to see what people do in their day-to-day lives, how they carry themselves, okay? Because it tells me a lot about the individual just in, watching someone. I mean, how they walk, how they talk, facial mannerisms and everything. And stay with me because I'm going somewhere with this. So was actually getting some lunch, and, before I went back to my table to sit down with my wife, actually saw, I would say, possibly a 3-year-old child, and, they had the cell phone, and the child was just moving her head, and, she was singing a song. But then, of course, when I passed by the child, as I got closer, it was a song, but, the song had all type of, curse words and everything, and they were going back and forth. And, the parent was standing right there, child's listening, and I mean, she had this thing going word for word, okay? And then I'm kind of thinking to myself, what kind of foundation is being laid in this child's life? What type of seeds are being planted in her life to actually help her for the future, to become successful? And what really, put a frown on my face, it wasn't that some other people may have said, hey, you probably shouldn't let your child listen to anything like that. There were other people that were just, they just totally bypassed the words that was coming out of the child's mouth, but just focused on how the child was moving. Oh, that's so cute. That's so cute. Well, you know something? You can actually look cute when you're miserable in your life. You can actually look cute when things aren't going right in your life. You can actually look cute when you've got the biggest smile on your face, but, behind your eyelids, you're suffering, expecting someone to actually stick out their hand to actually help you. But what does that mean? What are we doing? What are we actually doing for this next generation that's coming up? How are we actually preparing them to walk into a realm of success? I mean, just for that, from that particular example that I've seen, is it any wonder why so many of us right now are having difficulty really having a clear and definable picture of what it is to be successful? Because, hey, like I said, first partaker, I didn't have the example, when I was growing up of what it was to be successful. The most firm advice I got from family members, primarily my grandfather, if it's not working out for you in one job, get another job. If that job's not working out for you, get another job. And that was the answer for every single thing. You never heard anything about being an entrepreneur. You never heard anything about connecting with a mentor. You never heard anything that actually was a stepping stone to get you towards being successful. The only thing that I ever really got was that work harder, work harder, work harder, work harder. Well, guess what? In success, yes, you do have to put in the work in the beginning, but you don't have to continually work hard every single moment, because there's going to come a time, and I know a lot of you don't really see this, or some of you may not be able to grab hold of this, but there will come a time to where you will be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. But it takes an upfront effort. Now, don't fall into the area of that, entitlement, thinking that something should just be given to you, okay? If you actually have achieved some type of level of success, and you didn't actually put any kind of foundational work to maintain that level of success, it's actually going to be fleeting. It's actually going to disappear from you very, very quickly, because you may say, well, why is that, Court? Why is it going to disappear quickly? Because you know something? You don't have a track record of how you actually got to that level of success. And if it's all of a sudden just taken away from you, you're not going to be able to just build it back up. There are so many stories about so many people that have tried to start companies and businesses, and you hear about them going through, 2, 3, 4, 5 different bankruptcies and losing everything that they had. And, a lot of us would say, there's no way I would have kept going on and on, going through all that they've gone through. But each and every time, they didn't see it as failing. What they did see it as a way to not repeat past mistakes, to actually capitalize on what they didn't do right the first, second, third, whatever time, or however many times it took to get them towards, that end result, that goal that they're actually looking for. And the thing is this: are we basing our success on the way we actually view ourselves? Think about that. Do you base what you believe you can achieve in life on how you view yourself? And I would actually say the biggest thing that comes to mind, what happened with me and what I see with a lot of different people, do you base what you can achieve on your looks, on your exterior? And we know how it is as far as like in this country. Are you basing your outward appearance based upon skin color? Are we still holding on to using skin color as a reason? Well, bro, you don't know how it is, at my job. You don't know how they look at me when, I go to a bank. You don't know how it is when I go to a car dealership. That's inconsequential, really. And you might say, well, you may have never been in that situation. Folks, look, you really have to stop using things that go on for generation to generation as an excuse to stop you from actually walking into what God has in store for you. Heard those same stories, as they say, been there, bought the t-shirt, gave it away. But are you truly still using your outward appearance as the stumbling block to stop you from going forth to actually attain the level of success that God has for you? I told you before, you could actually go to a job interview for you young men, young ladies out there, and the best thing that you have is a t-shirt, pair of jeans, and the best tennis shoes that you have. As long as you're going there, you're upright, you're attentive, you ask questions, you present yourself professionally. You may not speak the same, but if you go there with the hunger and the drive, guess what? You will get an opportunity. It may not be the best opportunity in the beginning, but God will open that door for you to actually walk through into whatever company or organization that you're seeking to go to where you can start from the ground level and work yourself up. But exactly how it says in the word, don't despise those humble beginnings. Don't despise where you start from just because it may not be where you wanted to start from, but that one start, that one little pathway through that open door, the one thing that actually starts you on your path towards success, take it and go with it. Don't look at it how it seems right now, but like I said, focus on where it's actually taking you. Don't allow your education or lack thereof to be a hindrance. There's so many people right now, you might say, well, I don't really have an education past high school, past, I don't pass a GED. Well, let me just let you know, there are a lot of people out there, family, that even have college degrees right now. And some of them are not working in the fields that they actually went to school for. Don't let your education, okay, be, as I would like to call, that boomerang to actually come back. And, if you know anything about a boomerang, you throw it and eventually it's going to come back to you. But don't allow that boomerang, or should I say that lack of education, to be a boomerang in your life to where you actually start to throw it and want to walk away and say, well, based upon my education, they're not going to look at me. And, it just comes back and it just smacks you in the back of the head, But you may actually want to check and see exactly, based upon just an outward exterior or an outward appearance, even when you're walking into that, is it God's will for you in whatever that you're doing? We need to just realize that, okay, if we are walking in what God has actually called us to walk into, all right, it's not going to matter as far as what you look like. Okay, it's not going to matter as far as your education level. It's not even going to matter exactly where you live or how you actually speak. If you are actually walking according to how God has actually called you to walk, then you're going to be just simply, I call it, amazed all the time. And he's just really going to set things up to really blow your mind at how when you just walk into a level of confidence and the authority that he gives you, to where when he puts it in your spirit and he just says, hey, just go and do, and you're just obedient and you do, at the many doors that will continue to open for you. So, folks, we're talking about why people are fearful in achieving success. What is it that's actually making you fearful about walking into success? What is it that's actually the root cause of the things that's happening in your life about why you haven't actually taking a leap of faith, taking a big jump, and walking into all the things that need to go as far as in your life? Friends, I tell you, it's amazing how God continually just opens doors that no man can actually shut in each and every one of our lives, and all the things that he's actually doing for us right now. And like I said, make sure that no matter what it looks like, if you have the opportunity to progress in some way in your life, the right way. I'm not talking about the wrong way, but to progress the right way in your life. Take it, run with it, use it, and use it as a stepping stone to get to where God wants you. And we'll see you right after we come back, because you're in your moment.
Everything.
Welcome back to In the Moment with Courtia Kuzan. Family, you can reach out to us at our local number, 318-484-2500, and toll free 877-464-2500. And we've been talking about why people have a fear of success. There's a lot of subject matter to really cover, but in this particular segment of the radio show, what I've been actually able to glean is that something that really stuck out to me, and I'm going to be addressing the ladies on this particular point in time, is that what I've seen as far as this stigma that society pretty much tries to, portray when it comes to women, okay, is that a lot of women out there have a fear of success themselves. Now, I can say, you ladies, I'm going to give you credit in one thing, to where if you're actually going through a lot and stuff's happening into your life, you've pretty much know how to really keep it to yourself, keep it under wraps, keep it disguised. I mean, you can actually handle a lot of things a lot more than us guys can. Hey, yeah, I'm going to go out there and actually say that. Okay, I've just from what I've seen in my life and what I've experienced personally, you ladies out there can really handle a lot more than us men can when it comes to the pressures of success. So you can say that's my opinion, but like I said, just because of my years of seeing how things have progressed in, professionally, I see that a lot of women can actually kind of bounce back from things that some of us men cannot. And, we know that fear in success arises a lot. And you're going to keep hearing me say this when it comes from change, okay? But then one of the biggest things that I've actually seen with a lot of you ladies out there and going towards levels of success is that you fear that once you actually achieve success, is that it will actually lead to loneliness in your life. And it's like, wow, how can I actually put this? I've actually seen when, and this is the same thing for men too, but it seems to be like really prevalent with a lot of ladies, to when a woman actually starts to achieve a certain level of success, it's like, wow. It's like the so-called group of friends that she was close with, or the circle that she was connected with, to where they like actually ostracize her. They actually separate themselves from her, and they look at her like, okay, immediately look at you as if you've got this entire attitude of like, okay, I'm better than you are. Nothing may have come out of your mouth. You may not have said anything, but just because of the improvements and the things that have actually transpired in your life, is that, they start to treat you that way. And, it causes, something to start happening in the individual that's actually achieved that level of success, to where a lot of women, when they actually get to a level of success, they are actually afraid of being viewed as, being too powerful, okay, because of they actually taking the time to create the life that they want. And some women out there truly believe that since they've achieved that level of success, okay, since they've achieved that level of success, to where it actually renders them to be, unapproachable, to where, they'll take it as men won't see them as being lovable. There are a lot of men out there, women, and I'm going to set some of you free right now. There are a lot of men out there that are not able to see themselves with a professional, straightforward, got her act together, got it right between her ears, takes care of herself, put whatever, descriptive, phrase or whatever defines you or, fits you. But the thing is that there are a lot of men out there that really cannot relate or actually see themselves with a successful woman. And you might say, well, why is that, Court? Why is that? Because it's the same thing as with a man, as just with the individuals that you would have called your close circle, is that a lot of men, and I'm not saying all men, okay? I'm not saying all men, okay? I'm just going to put that out there now. But there are a lot of men out there that they cannot see themselves with a professional woman, or a woman that actually has it all together, because it kind of shows a light, or shines a light on how they may not be doing what they need to do in their own lives. And society actually portrays that, that you've got to get a man with benefits. He's got to have this job making X amount of dollars. If he's not doing this and giving you X amount of dollars, you need to kick him to the curb. And so many men have fallen into believing that's what a woman's going to want, but then you have so many women that are trying to figure out, hey, I've got it all together. God has blessed me in this way. So why is it that I'm having such an issue when it comes to my personal relationships? It's basically like certain aspects of media out there, certain things that are being tailor-made, if you really want to know, to actually try to disrupt individuals from actually connecting when they start to actually achieve levels of success. It's almost like this big stigma that, what I thought years ago, and what a lot of people even think today, when you actually, that, what's that saying? It's lonely at the top. That's how a lot of people actually believe they're going to be when they become successful. They think that they're actually going to be alone when they actually achieve their level of success. And it's a very hard thing for some people, because some of us, we've got to have that connection with others. It's like family, okay? When you build that close-knit group that's actually around you, then, you start to perceive people as family, all right? To where, family just doesn't mean, flesh and blood. Family could mean those that have been with you for years. Family could be the one that started out with you when you started in business, and they've been with you, through the entire path, through your ups, through your downs. Family, is those that are just right there for you continually. But some people fear losing all of that, and, choose to forsake success just because they want to hold on to that. Now, sometimes people fear success, it actually will mean you may actually be attacked by enemies, or, besieged by people that may have been close to you that just want money from you, okay, or other things from you. As I said previously in one show,
that some people may actually want to use your success as their stepping stone into their superficial success. You know, trying to use everything that you've achieved to actually put a spotlight on them when they may have not have had anything to do with, you know, your climb up that ladder of success. So, you know, it's like I said, if we took an example of that, at how, you know, David in the Bible, at how, you know, he climbed up and he went through his levels of success. And then, you know, at the end, when he was older in age, and how his son had tried to take over his kingdom, Absalom, and, you know, nothing that he built, but he wanted what his father had. But the end result, it brought him to his own ruination, brought him to his own downfall. And a lot of people that want what you have and they haven't taken the opportunity to build what you have, you know, where if they try to step out and do what you did or try to take what you had, they're going to find themselves on sinking sand, and they're going to find themselves falling over a cliff into a pit. Because why? They haven't done what's necessary or walked into their anointing, because it's not their anointing that God placed in front of you. So don't be fearful of achieving a level of success simply because you have this fear of being alone at the top. I mean, God said he'll never leave you or forsake you. And if it's God that's truly directing your pathway along where he's taking you towards, in whatever, you know, avenue it may be, go with it. Go with it. Don't look at everyone around you. Don't look at the circumstances that are around you. Don't look at your bank account. Hey, I'm talking to somebody right now. Don't look at your bank account, but look at the capability that he has to actually work through you. It's not about you, whether you realize it or not, but it's actually you being fully obedient to what God has actually called you to do. Take this time right now to know exactly what God's doing in you, because guess what? He's letting you know he's right there with you in your moment. Come back to In the Moment with Courtier Kuzan on this Thriving Thursday. Pray that each and every one of you are taking care out there, that you're driving safely to your places of employment, and that you've actually been absorbing this word over the entire week, this message, this why do people fear success? I tell you, family, it's really sticking out to me, and it's really funny. On the last point, I didn't actually realize this, that, you know, before we actually close out this Thriving Thursday segment, is that, you know, a lot of us right now, you know, I was actually sitting there with my youngest daughter last night, and, you know, we were actually watching a movie. And then I just looked down to this final point that I wanted to bring out to you, and it lines up with everything that's been happening. But, you know, what I want you to take from this right now, what I want you to actually hear, is that we've been talking about all of these different fears, okay? We've been talking about all of these different things that have come against you. We've been talking about how you can just step out in faith. We've been talking about so many things about getting you in this season to step out into the realm of receiving what God has in store for you. But look, I didn't try to paint a picture for you about, hey, it's all going to be sunshine and clovers. I let you know it's going to be work. I let you know that it's going to be opposition, whether it's going to be from people, whether it's going to be trying to find, you know, whatever mode it is to actually get you there. I mean, whatever it is that tries to come up against you, I've tried to touch those things. But we each and every one of us have our own personal journeys that we have to take on our pathways to success. But the thing that you really need to realize is that once you actually identify your fears and understand why those particular fears actually held you back, or why you actually held onto them, then guess what? This is really going to strike you as odd, but why don't you at that point in time forgive yourself, okay? Actually forgiving yourself for never moving forward in life is will be one of the biggest defining moments, the biggest release points you can ever have in your life. And family, it's something that I actually did to myself. And the reason that I did this was for this reason. Lord, you place all of these gifts, all of these talents, all of these abilities and everything on the inside of me. And then I've allowed, and I'm talking about myself right now, okay? I'm talking about myself before, you know, God showed me how to walk into my moment. I actually had to apologize and ask God for forgiveness for not taking everything that he's instilled in me and using it to go forth into the plan and purpose that he has in store for my life. So basically, to give you a visual, it was like God was trying to give me something, and I was just throwing it back in his face thinking that I wasn't deserving of it. Not because it wasn't a great gift, but just simply because I thought I wasn't deserving of it. And I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad or bring them down, but once you've identified those fears and you know what's been holding you back, actually forgive yourself and move forward. You can actually release your fears in this way by either visualizing your fears, coming true in the future, then creatively destroying those fears using your imagination. That's how God communicates his plans to us, okay? He gives us the visual picture in our imaginations on how we actually go forth and bring all of these different things to pass. Talks to your spirit, and then your spirit lets you know exactly what it needs to be done, because you get a blueprint or a plan that actually starts to materialize inside of your imagination. Or you can actually write out your fears and, destroy those fears on paper. You might say, what do you mean? You can actually list every single thing that you may have actually viewed as something that's stopping you from moving forward, and take it as almost like a battle strategy, okay? How is it that I'm going to combat this? How is it that, Lord, I'm going to destroy this? Actually seek and find what needs to be done to actually get that particular, roadblock out of your life. What is it that's actually holding you back? What is it that's actually stopping you from jumping into the arena of your success? And then, it's like I said, it's actually funny is how I sat on the bed on last night and was actually viewing this movie with my child. And, sometimes you want to actually play a movie out of, your successful future, in your imagination to actually show you on your way to success. And, I think I saw this movie once, and I just happened to be laying across the bed, and for whatever reason, she really enjoys this movie. And, we were on the bed, and I looked up, and, the movie, I know some of you have actually seen it, it was actually, Creed. So we're actually on the edge of the bed, and sometimes I can actually be in the room with a movie going on, but really not pay attention to it. You know how it is, your mind wanders and you go somewhere else. But I started paying attention to certain points. I started paying attention, okay? And this is for all of you under my sound of my voice right now. And this just relates to things that were actually happening in my life and still happens right now. You get to a point to where you may have actually been under the shadow, the stigma of things that may have happened in the past, things that someone may have done something great, or someone may have done things that are not so great. But it's this stigma, this shadow, this thing to where you actually feel like you've got to prove yourself. But then you try to figure out, well, if I do this, I've got to live up to this certain name, or I've got to do this to distance myself from this certain name. But what is it right now? What kind of training? What are you doing right now? What battle are you preparing for? What battle are you trying to prepare to where you can go the distance in? What type of training do you see yourself doing? Are you getting in there? Are you shadow boxing with yourself to where you're actually at the wall, seeing yourself move, getting everything worked out to where you get coordinated, to where you actually are getting coordinated to where you've got this plan. You see this image in your mind, and you're moving and you're taking steps to move with this image in your mind. And you may be clumsy, you may start to stumble and fall, but what do? You get right back up. You get right back up and you start all over again. And then what ends up happening? You start to do things that start to increase with your walk. You start to get a little bit faster. You start to get a little bit surer of yourself. You start to find that you have a little bit more balance. Your legs start getting stronger. You get a little bit more confidence out there. You start to see that the obstacles that were once before you are now things that actually will make you stronger. You start to grab hold of those things that you once perceived as obstacles, and you start to lift weights with those things. You start to allow those things to strengthen you. You start to actually see things that are actually happening into your lives. And then what happens? Life tries to throw an opponent in front of you. It tries to throw someone into you, a situation, a circumstance, whatever it may be. But then all of a sudden, instead of you backing up away from that, you go to the side of the ring and you let the rope down and you let that opposition come in the ring. And you know what? Instead of before running away from it, you start to spar with that opposition. Because why? You've gained new skills. You've gained new abilities. You've gained the confidence to let you know, okay, yeah, I used to run from you. You're bobbing and you're weaving and you're going back and forth. And you see this obstacle that's in your life right now, whether it's in your professional life, whether it's in your personal life. And you know something? You've gotten in your mental state. You've gotten it into your heart. And it's been solidified in your spirit. Hey, you know something? I can overcome this. I can go past this. I can grab hold of this. This isn't something that's going to stop me again. And all of a sudden you're going and you're trying to go for some rounds, but you're sparring. But then all of a sudden, because of the strength that you have, you knock out that thing that's right in front of you. And you're jumping around and you're still going. You're full of energy. You're primed. You're pumped. You have every single thing that's available to you right now. But when it ends up happening, you start hearing the naysayers going. Everyone's standing outside of your ring of opportunity, your ring of success that God has placed you in. And they're saying, you're trying to live off of someone else's rep. They're saying that you haven't done and been successful that's necessary for you to actually be proven in this arena of success right now. But then you're still bobbing. You're still bobbing and weaving. You still see the people that are around you, and they're talking all manner of things against you right now falsely. But you've got your hood on your head, and you're focused again because you're shadow boxing and you're doing all of the necessary things that are helping to increase you. But then all of a sudden, someone comes up to you and they say, something, guess what? Because of the time, because of the preparation, and because what I saw what you were doing when people were coming against you, because I saw you putting in the time, putting in the hours, getting out there when it made you feel uncomfortable, because all of these things that I've bear witness to, I'm going to give you your shot. I'm going to give you your opportunity. And God, just like a good trainer, just like Rocky did, and how he's going to go and pat you on your shoulder, he's going to say, my daughter, my son, you're ready. You are actually ready to get out there. You're ready to get into the ring. You're ready to go ahead in and showcase your skills. You're ready to go ahead and be a representation of who I am. So you get out. You walk down this tunnel. It seems dark. It's an area where you've never been before, but you're walking down this tunnel that you don't even see the words, but you know something, when it comes to a brilliant, blinding light, you start to see the camera flashes going. You see that level of success that just starts to chime. You feel yourself all of a sudden fear starts to try to creep in, but then all of a sudden, God puts his hand back on your shoulder one more time, and he says, use it. Use it to your advantage. Turn it around. You know how I've been training you through this entire process. You know how I've prepared you for this moment. And then you get in that ring, and still all of these individuals are out there trying to say you're never going to go the distance. And you go up in there, and then you could have the biggest opposition that you've ever seen in your life. It could even be Satan himself that are right there ready to go one round. He said he's going down. She's going down in the first round. But then all of a sudden you get up in there. You've taken licks. You've been bruised. You've been blooded. But you did not go down. You've got knocked against the ropes, but you did not go down. But then all of a sudden, God just says, use what I've given you. Be smart what I've given you. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to be the strongest. You don't have to be the most knowledgeable. All you have to do is have the drive, have the commitment, have the determination, and have everything and utilize what I've given you. Go the distance and do what is necessary. And just like he was in the movie, just like what Creed was in the movie, and how when he was hit, eyes closed, beaten, bloodied, bruised, and how he started to gain the respect, and how people started to take note of him, and how doors of opportunity opened for him. And even in the end, and how some people say, well, he didn't win in the end, but guess what? He didn't win in the ring, but he didn't win a particular battle. But when he stepped out of the ring, he won in a realm of success of being the individual that people saw, not being defined by others, not being defined by circumstances, but being defined by the moment that he chose to walk into and believe in what God called him to do. Folks, you're in your moment. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow on Light It Up Friday.